we're going to outline 3 things that you can do in this late third quarter, into the first fourth quarter, that can help you stick with that plan and stick with that goal even longer. But just like you were talking about, I think the first one that we need to realize is the failure of planning for what you're going to do. I think a lot of times we decide we want to do something. Let's say, everyone knows a big resolution is always to lose weight. Okay. So a lot of times people will they'll start thinking about it in early December, and late December, early January, they're like, yep, here we are, we're doing it. But they had no time, or they spent no time planning on what they wanted to do. What gym are we going to? What kind of workouts are we going to do? Are we going to eat better? What the heck are we going to do? So a lot of people, including me before, you just jump into something and you really just don't have a plan for what you got to do in order to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, and I think everybody's intentions are always good. Everybody wants to be better, make a change, have their life better in some way, shape, or form. And I think it all comes down to answering a question. Each and every one of us is, what is your why? What is your vision? What is your mission on your time on this planet? And really reassessing. I always like the mindset of that you are the director of your own movie. Okay. So you at any time can change the script because it's your movie. And so, how are we going to change this into the movie we want to live in? How are we going to change our lives to better ourselves? And the hardest thing about that is how much time it's going to take and how much effort and energy you have to pour into yourself to give yourself some self love and to really narrow down what is the answer to a lot of my problems. And it's all within us. We control that. It is 100% in there somewhere. And I think it's just maybe writing down some goals. What do you want your life to look like? What does it feel like to live the life you want to feel? And that is my biggest, this is one of my favorite episodes. I know we're only episode 5, but I think this is the core principle to self growth and self healing is, what do you want to feel? Life is a feeling process. And what do you want your life to feel like in 20, 30, 40 years? Or how about in the next 5 years?
Yep.
Nothing good can happen overnight. You're not going to dramatically win the lottery and your whole life's going to change because you're still going to have those core root problems. And so I think we just have to be honest with ourselves. We have to sit down with what we want to feel and then have the power and the energy to really live that life we're wanting to live, because it's so easy to just sit back and wish for things to happen, and
Like
unfortunately
you're
that's
saying,
just not how things
think
go.
about who you want to be, and the why, and how you're going to get there. But the biggest thing that we talked about, and this is, if you're listening to anything that we've been saying, this is a big technique that you can use right now that can really catapult you into doing better things. It's visualizing who you want to be. So you're not only thinking about, like, oh, I would like to be skinnier, or I'd like to be more successful, or whatever it is. You're actually visualizing that. You're putting yourself into that situation that you think would make you happy at the end of that road, and start seeing yourself being that person. That's the beauty part. We can start seeing ourselves being that person, and slowly it starts creeping into your mind, and you start believing yourself, because the biggest thing with us human beings is we're very negative. We're just negative in nature. I mean, with the thoughts, I mean, everything can be going well, and all of a sudden we're like, well, I don't know if that's going to work out for me. We're like,
Hmm.
and it's so dumb, because everything's going right, or everything's going okay, and then all of a sudden, boom, those negative thoughts start creeping in. So you have to guard that mind, and you have to start using that technique of visualizing what you want to be, and see that in your brain, who you're going to be once you get there. And I know that's something that we've both used in our time going through school, but mainly, and I'll let you kind of expound on it, that's something we learned while we were playing baseball in high school and in college.
Oh, 100%. Preparing yourself to be the best you can possibly be. And the only way you can do that, and it's just like any professional athlete will tell you, is the power of visualizing before they even get up to the plate or before they even get under the center to take a snap. They can see the field. They can see what it's going to feel like when they throw a touchdown pass. They feel it before it even happens. And those mental repetitions, again, if you can consciously just be present with where you want to go, and then take your time to understand you are human. You're gonna need to live your life and your day-to-day living with your career or your spouse, and dynamically kind of separate those. But overall, I mean, I cannot explain enough. And like you said, it's the power of repetition as well. These things, these changes do not happen overnight, and that's the hardest thing to kind of, for anybody to make that change, is it's discipline and consistency day after day after day. And we talk about it all the time. Get your wins, just get some wins, get the ball rolling, and then get your confidence up very high. And this is an episode, we're not going to sit here and we're probably a little more serious sounding on this one. I think, and I hope the viewers and listeners can understand the passion behind why it is so important, because this is the core principle to making a change in your life. And I think a lot of the feedback I get from patients when they come in, and this is our realm, is we see patients come in and make a change. We've noticed certain patterns of behaviors that they do. Most everybody that comes in and makes a change, they decided to do something for themselves, because you
Mhm.
can't be right with anybody else in your life if you're not truly 100% true to yourself and your vision and your plan, because it is your life and it's your decisions that you make that dictate what your life is going to, what your life is going to be compromised of.